Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a beautifully simple idea that literally has the power to change how you experience stress and self-doubt. And that idea is don't believe everything you think. I know, it sounds kind of strange at first, right? But we're going to discover exactly how your mind is just a tool, not the ultimate truth.
Let's jump right in. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, I'm not good enough? Or maybe you've got this greatest hits album of negative thoughts playing on a loop, like, oh, they're definitely judging me, or I'm probably going to fail, or even nothing ever works out for me. Look, if you're nodding along right now, you are completely normal. We all do this. Keep those specific phrases in the back of your mind as we go, because we're about to completely dismantle them.
Here's the absolutely crucial point. A thought is not a fact. Now, obviously, our thoughts feel incredibly real to us, right? I mean, they narrate our entire lives, they warn us about dangers, and they constantly try to tell us who we are. But just because your mind generates a thought, well, that doesn't make it true, any more than having a dream about flying makes you an actual bird. Separating the sheer experience of having a thought from the objective reality of a fact, that's the very first and honestly most important step to dropping your daily stress levels.
Which brings us to section 1, why your brain lies. We really need to look at the biology here for a second. Because believe it or not, your brain wasn't actually designed to make you happy. Its primary job? Keeping you alive. Thousands of years ago, assuming that every rustling bush was a saber-toothed tiger was a highly effective survival strategy. It literally kept our ancestors from being lunch. But today, that exact same high alert system is firing off just because your boss replied, okay, with a period to an email. Your brain is reacting to a minor social inconvenience, a routine meeting, or the perceived opinions of total strangers, like it's an actual physical predator. You see, because of this evolutionary hardwiring, your brain essentially acts as a hyperactive prediction engine. It predicts, it exaggerates, and it constantly fills in the blanks just to protect you. And sure, sometimes this ancient survival system gets it right, but man, many times it just completely jumps to false conclusions. It takes a massive leap based entirely on fear, not fact. Okay, moving on to section 2, rewriting your inner stories. Let's just slow down for a second here, because this is a heavy struggle for pretty much all of us. Those internal narratives can feel so incredibly daunting. But once we understand what they really are, everything kind of shifts. Think back to those negative thoughts we listed earlier, like, nothing ever works out for me. Notice something important here. They aren't facts. A story is simply an internal narrative that we create. And the empowering truth, because it's just a story, you, as the author, are completely capable of rewriting it. Let's look at how, in section 3, the power of the pause. So how do we actually rewrite these stories? Well, we use a concrete cognitive behavioral tool. Next time a negative thought pops into your head, your very first instinct is probably going to be to fight it. Don't. Instead, use the pause and ask yourself these 4 specific questions. Let's walk through them. First, is this actually true? Like, force yourself to look at it objectively. Second, what tangible evidence do I have to support this? Third, is there another explanation for what's happening that doesn't involve some worst-case scenario? And fourth, actually, this is my personal favorite, would I say this to someone I love? Listen, if you wouldn't send it to your best friend, you absolutely should not be accepting it as a truth about yourself. When you stop and actually ask those questions, you aren't just analyzing data. You are physically inserting a wedge of logic right into an emotional reaction. And that space is exactly where your true mental freedom begins. Which leads us perfectly into section 4, becoming the observer. To really solidify this idea, let's use a visual metaphor. Imagine you're standing right beside a massive multi-lane highway. Cars are just roaring past, one after another. You wouldn't run out into the street and try to chase down every single vehicle, right? I mean, no way, that'd be exhausting and dangerous. You simply watch them go by. Well, your thoughts are exactly the same as those cars. They are just passing traffic. Sure, some might be interesting enough to deserve your attention, but the vast majority really do not. Let this sink in for a moment. You are the observer, not every passing thought. You are the person standing safely on the side of the highway. You don't have to get dragged along by every rogue negative thought that pops up, because you are simply the one watching it flow by. Section 5, how to train your mind. Now, knowing this and actually doing it are 2 totally different things, right? Just like a muscle, the mind needs daily training. Meditation and mindfulness literally train you to sit on that highway bench and watch the cars go by without reacting. Journaling, that gets the traffic out of your head and onto paper where you can actually evaluate it objectively. Reading expands your perspective, and talking with trusted people acts as a much-needed reality check for those internal stories. Incorporating these habits is going to train you to recognize your thoughts without becoming controlled by them. As we bring this all together, remember this core takeaway. The quality of your life depends less on what actually happens to you and far more on the meaning you give it. Not every thought deserves your belief. Not every fear predicts the future. And absolutely no single doubt defines who you are. I want you to take this one last tool into your day. The very next time your mind tells you that you can't do something or that you aren't good enough, I want you to just pause. Literally smile at that ancient, overly cautious survival mechanism in your brain and ask yourself this: is that true, or is it just another thought? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Start practicing that pause today. Stay curious and remember, you are the observer.